breaking down the political landscape. This is KQ Truth for you. Political honesty rooted in God. This is KQ Truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is KQ, the truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I am Ken.
I'm Kevlon. Welcome to another exciting episode coming from the mean streets of Montgomery, Alabama, where we didn't get a football or basketball championship this year, but we still winners.
Yeah, we came close, baby. We came close.
That's right.
Yeah.
I hope y'all enjoyed that Final Four. The women played pretty well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They did good. They did good.
The women are drawing more than the men these days, Ken. Ain't that something?
Yeah, I can appreciate it. I watched a few games. I was hoping to see a couple of more dunks, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, I did see a few crossovers and a whole lot of jump shots. So,
right.
Absolutely. Hey, so this time, y'all, we're gonna make this very, very comparative. Obviously, you know, we're steaming right headed towards the election season, and again, we only have a couple of different options. We have the Democrats and we have the Republicans. Conventional wisdom says it's hard to pick between the two, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't see a comparison that is no. I mean, it just doesn't compare. It's like an apple to a brick.
Yeah. You ever bit a brick?
Not yet. Yeah, never had the desire to bite a brick.
They almost the same color if you get one of them ambrosias.
Right. Yeah, but it kind of leaves everything up in the air now, man. I mean, it's amazing the amount of pushback we still get. And I'm just like saying, hey, this guy, he's got all these 91 indictments. Witch hunts. Hey, he wants to kill Medicare and all that. Nah, that's not true, man. That's not true. He doesn't want to do.
None of it's true.
Yeah, none of it's true. Even though he consistently says it in all of his speeches. And I'm like, why aren't y'all listening to his speeches if you love him so much? I mean, I take time to listen, and most of them sound a whole lot like hate speeches that he's doing on the campaign trail. Because that's all they talk about is who they don't like, who they want out of the country, who he's going to kick out.
Who he's going to get revenge on.
All of the departments of the government they're going to shut down because they're witch hunting him for all of these alleged crimes that are literally crimes. But they're like, he didn't do nothing. It's like they just repeat whatever he said 100,000 times leading up to this thing. So I don't know how reality is just distorted like that. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Joe Biden, I mean, it's so much stuff going on over there.
Let me give you an example of just what you're saying. Today, I was listening to Charlemagne the God when I was driving to pick up my grandkids. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, y'all, I'm that old. But they mentioned that Trump did a speech yesterday regarding abortion. We typically try to stay away from that issue, except for the fact that women are encountering sepsis now and basically having to wait until they're near death before they can get regular care. But anyway, they mentioned Trump's incoherent, blabbering speech yesterday where he really didn't make a commitment as to whether or not he'd sign a national ban. That's what people were asking him. That's the question. He said, give me 2 weeks and I'll give you the answer to. Was, what about the national ban? Will you sign it? So he basically came out and said, I'm going to leave it up to the states. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. That's where we are now. And he didn't touch national ban at all. So they mentioned that and they just kind of said, it's unfortunate that he didn't give a clear answer. And then the next story that they talked about was Biden relieving another 3 million people's student loans. for today, and it's going to be, you know, billions of dollars to add on to the $100-something billion that he's already forgiven. And they talked about some examples of people who had their student loans forgiven, and one of them was somebody Charlemagne knew, and he said, yeah, this gentleman I knew, he had 300,000 forgiven. It was him, his wife, his child, and this other person that he mentioned. All four of them got their loans forgiven. Now, see, that's what they need to do. They need to put people like that in and let them tell the story instead of the uninteresting Biden. I'm like, okay, he may not be interesting to you, but I like progress. I like forgiving loans, student loans. We shouldn't have that much student debt in the first place. We're the only industrialized country that charges for college.
Yeah,
you know,
charges for college and charges for healthcare and everything.
It's like
else.
that white man can't jump movie. You rather lose and look good than win and look bad. You know, it's like, what do you want Biden to do? You want somebody to get up there and bust a rhyme and make it sound interesting, go and curse somebody out before they mention how much student loan forgiveness they do.
Make up silly nicknames for them and stuff.
Yeah. Call them Sleepy or something. I mean, what? Get the crowd to do a chant talking about lock somebody up. Is that what you want? That's what substance over bloviating. We are mature individuals. We want results. We want people's lives to get affected. We want actual policies that move the needle forward, that bring us closer to where we should be. I don't give a doggone if you do it as a corpse. If you're doing it, do it, and let's get it done. We're in the business of doing business.
Yeah. I got a new one. I posted it on the KQ Facebook. It said new week rules include more money for fruits and vegetables. They also expanded food choices. That's just something else that just happened because of the Biden administration. I think it's around $7 billion that the federal government is shipping to states to put to the WIC, so that women with kids can go and buy healthy foods and have healthy food choices instead of just, Kaboom cereal or whatever they used to give us back in the day.
Block cheese.
Yeah, block cheese and Kaboom.
Oh, man. I mean,
Not quite the Frosted Flakes, but, it is what it is.
And see,
ain't no tiger on there. Might have been like a mole rat or something instead of a tiger.
So what we're trying to say here is who we pick to govern us matters. We're going to point out a few examples of ways that you can look at just straight policy for policy, who did what, so that we can just put a nutshell on this thing. But Biden's got his head down and he's making things happen, and we're going to go into some of that. And Trump is a straight buffoon clown who doesn't have a clue. When the stuff hit the fan in his administration, he was throwing paper towels at the crowd and telling people to inject disinfectants, man.
Yeah. Hey, I got a good video for that. Let me show you this one.
Well, here we are, you guys. Donald Trump is now the presumptive GOP nominee for president again for a third time, despite the fact that he's a twice impeached, four-time criminal indictee and racist who's been found liable for fraud and sexual abuse, banned from doing business in the state of New York for 3 years, owes over $500 million in fine, took millions from foreign governments while he was president, tried to extort a foreign country to interfere in an election in 2020, and encouraged another to help him win in 2016, actively undermined the nation's response to a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, and let a deadly disease spiral out of control. It's about to go on trial for breaking campaign finance laws by paying hush money to cover up an affair during the 2016 campaign. Orchestrated a months-long coup attempt that culminated in a violent insurrection to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power and install him as an unelected dictator. Stole classified documents and obstructed attempts to get them back, has never once won the popular vote, and has been routinely rejected by a majority of Americans in election after election.
Sometimes it takes a different...
There you have it.
There you have it.
Just a quick description of the former president.
Yeah. It all sounds pretty on the up and up to me. That's
now
pretty much how it went down.
Biden. You have Biden, former House member, former senator, and now president. I mean, that's his resume. And by the way, the performance is magnanimous so far. The results are the results. As president, you get credit for the results. You put together the culture and the framework in order to bring about the results that show themselves. The stability of the country right now versus when we were in the hands of Trump is just markedly different. Right now, we have all of our trajectories headed upward, and for the economy, for inflation, for crime. Crime is going in a better direction. Yes, it is. Don't believe the hype. And even they were trying to do this for immigration too, but Trump jumped in and blocked it. But anyway, let's get into a little bit of what the other guy has provided.
Absolutely.
There are many other stories besides White House chaos and Russia and Stormy Daniels. Donald Trump often said his presidency is all about infrastructure.
We're here today to discuss the urgent need to rebuild and restore America's depleted infrastructure. It is also time to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. Our infrastructure will again be the best in the world. We used to have the greatest infrastructure. Well, we're going to get infrastructure. Infrastructure is the easiest of all. We're very well on our way.
The easiest. This week, Trump's heading to Ohio to promote a plan to attempt to get more bipartisan support. When the White House is under fire, there are speeches and press events rolled out about infrastructure. It's become a kind of a recurring promise.
Yeah, hold it right there. Yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Infrastructure. See, this is the thing. This was bloviating. He speaks about it. It's all performance art. Biden, on the other hand, he's not out here tap dancing for you and running his mouth and bumping his gums. He's just getting things done. All right. So let's fill in the blanks a little bit more and put a little bit more meat on this infrastructure potato that Trump planted.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one right here. This kind of breaks down what happened along the way and what caused all of those infrastructure weeks.
Claims of infrastructure week.
Yeah, infinite infrastructures weeks.
We had like 17, 11 of them.
Exactly. All right, check it out.
Since it's infrastructure week, I'm wondering if the president
Is it infrastructure week?
Yeah.
Secretary Chao kicked off Infrastructure Week with an event with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce this morning.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Breaking news, stunning reports that President Trump shared highly classified information with the Russian foreign minister.
Infrastructure Week continues.
We're actually calling it Infrastructure Week in this administration, and today I have the honor to kick off our very first summit focused on infrastructure.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Breaking news tonight, James Comey's gripping and incriminating testimony under oath portraying President Trump as a liar.
We call it Infrastructure Week.
We're going to call it.
We're working very hard to reduce the permitting and approval process on major projects.
Tonight, 100% willing to testify. President Trump accuses James Comey of lying under oath and says he's willing to go under oath himself.
Which he did.
My administration is working every day to deliver the world-class infrastructure
Every day.
that our people deserve and, frankly, that our country deserves. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Tonight, President Trump stuns even members of his own staff, repeating his belief both sides were to blame for the violent protests in Charlottesville.
We're here today to discuss the urgent need to rebuild and restore America's depleted infrastructure.
New scrutiny over the Rob Porter scandal.
Michael Cohen personally paid the porn star $130,000.
We're going to get this infrastructure going.
Another member of President Trump's cabinet under scrutiny for reportedly getting low-cost housing that's connected to an energy lobbyist.
So I know people like to joke it's Infrastructure Week again. I'm very happy that it's Bipartisan Infrastructure Day anyway.
Breaking news, Robert Mueller raised concerns to the Attorney General,
Saying the Attorney General didn't fully capture the substance and conclusions of Mueller's 400-page report.
I walked into the room and I told Senator Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, I want to do infrastructure, but you know what? You can't do it under these circumstances.
He meant as president of the United States, he couldn't do it.
Children, seniors, and people with disabilities, and to care
Now,
for their loved ones.
What do we got going? Pause that bad boy. Yeah. So he said he couldn't do it under the circumstances, meaning with me as president, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah. So
it was a constant refrain. All it was a distraction from the issues that were going on. Substance was not there. That was just performance art the whole time. Nothing was put into place to bring about infrastructure in the United States of America. It was very important to do. He just didn't do it.
He just brought it up to every single time little scandals and stuff would pop out, and then boom, he'd act like, hey, we're down here doing something like I'm working.
But Ken, it may not be like that the next time he gets elected.
No, it might not. Yeah, we might not have infinite border week.
Or we might not have scandal after scandal, right? He's going to stop producing scandals all of a sudden, right?
Well, he won't be able to do infrastructure week anymore. Let me show y'all. Yeah, he won't be able to do that.
Why is that?
Why is that? My man. Bidenomics, baby.
Finally, infrastructure week. I'm so happy to say that, infrastructure week. We did something that's long overdue, that long has been talked about in Washington, but never actually been done. The House of Representatives passed an Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. That's a fancy way of saying a bipartisan infrastructure bill, a once-in-a-generation investment that's going to create millions of jobs, modernize our infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our broadband, a whole range of things, to turn the climate crisis into an opportunity. And it puts us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with China and other large countries and the rest of the world. Vice President Harris and I look forward to having a formal signing ceremony for this bipartisan infrastructure soon, but I'm not doing it this weekend because I want people who work so hard to get this done, Democrats and Republicans, to be here when we sign it. The American people have made clear one overwhelming thing, I think, and I really mean it. All the talk about the elections and what do they mean and everything. They want us to deliver. They want us to deliver. Democrats, they want us to deliver. Last night, we proved we can on one big item.
Have you gotten assurances from moderate Democrats in the House and Senate that they are going to vote for your Build Back Better plan now that what they really wanted, the infrastructure bill, has passed?
You know, I'm not going to answer that question for you because I'm not going to get into what made what commitments to me. I don't negotiate in public, but I feel confident. I feel confident that we will have enough votes to pass the Build Back Better plan.
What gives you that confidence?
Me.
All right.
Well. Now, all of the detractors, I want to ask you a question if you're out there. Did Biden seem like he was inebriated or hawked up or did he sound incoherent? Did he sound like he's got one toe on a banana peel and the other one deep in the grave? I mean, tell me what did you see? What did you hear?
Sounded pretty good and clear to me, crystal clear, exactly what he was trying to say. It didn't seem senile at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bill he was discussing, it actually does some things. It actually does some things. For all of you millennials out there, the biggest investment in climate change in world history was done through this bill. It was passed by Republicans and Democrats. Only a handful of Republicans voted for it. I think maybe 12 or 13 or so. And that's in the House. But the thing is, as they go around and break ground, probably more Republicans show up to try to take credit than actually sign the bill. So they like it. They want to use it. They just didn't want to vote for it because they're scared to give Biden credit for anything. So let's go on to what this bill provides.
Man, they made a whitewater park in Montgomery and built some prisons too. All right, yeah. Oh yeah, gotta have that. Well, Kay Ivey got that infrastructure money. Ain't no telling what she gonna do with it.
Man, she probably put it in the prisons.
Right. All right, so we got a fact sheet here. Biden-Harris administration celebrates historic progress in rebuilding America ahead of 2-year anniversary of bipartisan infrastructure law. I'm just gonna scroll down to some of these bullet points here, just so I can give y'all a quick run through of some of the things this bill provides. Okay, enable more than 21 million low-income households to access free or discounted high-speed internet service through the Affordable Connectivity Program. That was an infrastructure bill. Started improvements on 135,800 miles of roads, launched over 7,800 bridge repair projects. We got provided funding to deploy over 2,900 low and zero emission American-made transit buses, 2,400 clean school buses, delivered funding for 445 port and waterway projects to strengthen the supply chains, deployed investments in over 190 airport terminals.
Airports.
All the airports. They said LaGuardia even looks nice. Launched 7 world-class regional clean hydrogen hubs with 50 billion of public and private sector investment. That's going to help with the clean energy and getting off the gasoline.
Our buddy Mike will like that one, Ken.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a Mike McDonald right there. Launched over 2,300 projects to help communities build resilience to threats such as impacts of climate change, cyber attacks. Financed over 1,200 drinking water and wastewater projects across the country, including projects that will reduce hundreds of thousands of lead service lines. Now,
hundreds of thousands of lead pipes.
Yeah, remove hazardous fuel material from 87 million acres of land. Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
I mean,
Funded
come
nearly
on, people.
400 projects. I mean, funding for over 100 states, tribes, and territories. Launched over 60 projects to improve resilience, reliability of America's electric grid. I mean, all this kind of stuff that's infrastructure.
What would you do? What would these people in these communities do if they had to continue without broadband? Continue with wastewater getting and pollution getting continue to just ignore climate change, no hydrogen hubs, continue to drink water out of lead pipes. That's called doing away with detriment, helping people. This is not something that's beneficial to the billionaires out there. This is beneficial to everyday ordinary Americans. You can say what you want, but when you care for everyday ordinary Americans to the point where you make their lives better than they were, that's the Christian way.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Now,
absolutely.
we got the in the meantime, what is Trump doing on the campaign trail? This is a couple of months old, this little tidbit. Now they've kind of transitioned a little bit more back towards the border when they were the ones that came up with the fix for the border and then didn't vote for it because Trump said, hey, we need that. We need the border. We have to have the border as a problem. If y'all fix the border, then I can't use that as my talking point for the election. So he canceled the whole deal, and Mike Johnson didn't bring it to the floor. So of course it's still sitting in limbo now, waiting to fix the border because we got a bipartisan plan made by the Republicans, but that's what they're back on now. But just a couple of months ago, this is where they were at.
By the way, just before you play that, just want to mention, now this infrastructure, this is just one issue. There are hundreds and hundreds of issues at stake. You can see the difference on this one. The difference between Trump on infrastructure and Biden on infrastructure, you can translate that across issue after issue after issue. This next one is another issue which is very, very important to everybody. Healthcare. We all know somebody who's sick. We all know somebody who's age 18 to 26 who's still on healthcare. We know people with pre-existing conditions who would have probably gotten kicked off of their healthcare insurance if it wasn't for the Affordable Care Act. And we also understand just how much the Republicans demonized the Affordable Care Act. You remember the death panels, Ken?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's go ahead with these next. Issue after issue.
Biden administration says it plans to hit back after Donald Trump revived his threat to repeal Obamacare this past weekend. On social media on Saturday, the 2024 Republican frontrunner wrote that he is seriously looking at alternatives to the Affordable Care Act if he were to win next year's presidential election. Of course, Trump vowed to gut Obamacare before he was even elected the first time, but once he entered the Oval Office, he failed to follow through and never even presented an alternative health care plan. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign says it plans to seize on this latest threat using TV ads and other media. No tactic is out of the question, a campaign advisor is telling NBC News, adding that they'll present Trump's plan as part of a, quote, deeply historically unpopular agenda that Republicans are running on. You'll recall that though there was no alternative health care plan, Trump did lead an effort to repeal Obamacare, but it was defeated in the Senate by the late Senator John McCain.
Oh, yeah.
Oldie but goodie, man.
Oldie but goodie.
They want to take healthcare away from tens of millions of people, and they have no replacement. So another thing that Trump kept yelling and screaming about in 2016 was that he is going to replace Obamacare. It's terrible. It's horrible. Although the approval rating for Obamacare is now up above 60%, and plenty of people are benefiting from it. More Americans have health care right now than ever before in history. That's just a fact. And the late Senator Joe Lieberman was the only thing keeping us from a public option before. But this state of affairs is not good enough for Trump or the billionaire class in healthcare. You know, the hospital and the drug industry, they don't like Obamacare either because it holds them to account. The insurance companies, I should say, not the hospitals. But yeah, so this is just another example that you could look at and say, where are they? Where are the Democrats? Where are the Republicans? Where's the Democrats? Well, let's see. What's the record with Obamacare these days?
Let's see. Obamacare enrollment hits record level as Trump vows to repeal it. This was just in January. The other video I just played was from November. So that's this year, January. And he's still on the campaign trail talking about he wants to cancel insurance for 21 million people. Let's see here. Where were we going with this one?
Well, I think he just said he wanted to bring back pre-existing conditions, right?
Yeah. Wants to bring back pre-existing conditions, let your
Lifetime
kids
caps.
fend for themselves, lifetime caps. He wants to bring all that stuff back. He just really wants America to be sick. I don't know where his end game is on this one, but they have absolutely zero replacement, and Obamacare is actually doing some good.
A lot of good. We, like I said, record insured right now. And by the way, another little piece of what you can take to the bank in terms of the difference between Republicans and Democrats in Obamacare was the Medicaid expansion. We explained this in our last, one of our previous videos. Medicaid, of course, is the low-cost insurance for those who are poor. And the idea was Obamacare raised the cap so that more people could get into Medicaid at a higher income amount. And all they needed to do was the states just needed to sign on and implement the plan. The federal government was going to pay for 100% of it for 10 years, and thereafter was going to pay for 90% of it. All of the Democratic states joined in. More and more and more underclass people and children jumped in, and they're getting health care now. In the southern states that are controlled by Republicans and some of the other states controlled by Republicans, I think it's about between 15 and 20 of them right now, they wouldn't sign on. So they left people in their states struggling with no health care just to be, I guess, Republican. Even though the federal government was covering it, even though we as taxpayers were covering it. I don't understand how that benefits their people.
Not at all. Just turn it down.
and they're still refusing. I think Kentucky was one of the first ones, and they had a Republican governor at the time. They went ahead and did it, and the approval for, they call it Connect or something, their plan was up to like 80% approval rating in Kentucky. But they would go around and ask Republicans, how do you feel about Connect Care? They said, oh man, it's great. And they say, well, what do you think about Obamacare? Oh, I don't like that Obamacare. I don't like, while they were sitting on Obamacare. It was all within the realm of Obamacare.
Exactly. Yeah. So here we have, I'm gonna let you explain this a little bit, Kev. We got this thing called Project 2025.
Yeah, so not only does Trump want to do away with Obamacare, which kicked, tens of millions of people off health care, bring back pre-existing conditions and lifetime caps, and make it so that my children and some of your children will not be able to be on your health care plan until age 26. They want to do that very badly to help out the insurance companies. But not only that, there's a whole list of things that they have in mind in order to, let's say, the next time Trump decides to usher in a coup, there won't be enough Republicans around or administrative agencies around to prevent that coup. And also, it will allow them to run roughshod over the federal government's agencies to make basically the federal government an arm of big corporations. That's my assessment. I would say take it to the bank, but you may have a different one. There is a group called the Heritage Foundation. This is the group that all of the Republican presidents basically get their judges from. And they also get a lot of their policy initiatives from this think tank. And the Heritage Foundation put together a document. I think this thing is like 900 something pages, called Project 2025, that outlines their approach to ensure that the right-wing agenda, which involves a large amount of carnage and a large amount of money going to the top and a large amount of suffering for the middle and lower classes. And one thing that they're trying to do is gut the federal government of all people who are institutionalists, people who are lifetime employees, working in agencies as statesmen, basically doing the job that's so necessary throughout our federal government of caring for that agency. They want to gut that and put basically Trump sycophants in place. So if we just look at a couple of different things there, Ken, you want to read a paragraph or two?
Yeah, it's basically Project 2025 is a sweeping right-wing blueprint for the next Republican president, Trump or not, to run the country for the foreseeable future. Funded by the Heritage Foundation, Koch brothers, and a vast and secretive dark money network. The project has recruited at least 80 far-right organizations and entities to the cause. It says conservative warriors plan to defund Department of Justice, dismantle the FBI, break up the Department of Homeland Security, and eliminate the Departments of Education and Commerce. The 30-chapter, 920-page, I don't know what a tome is, but yeah, what it says. Yeah, the president would have complete power over quasi-independent agencies such as the FCC. Come on now, which makes and enforces rules for television and internet companies. Boy,
yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
And that goes right in line with Trump's promise to come down hard on left-wing, what he called left-wing media organizations. He doesn't like that bad press. People telling the truth about what he did. He's got to crack down on that. And he's going to use the power of the federal government to do that. They're talking about doing all kinds of draconian things, mass deportations. Your buddy just sent you a text message about the mass deportations coming up. And by the way, let's not have any illusions. We need immigration. Immigration is a foundation of this country. We just need it to be legal, and we definitely don't want any people coming over here with ill will. But keep in mind, the more robust our immigration policies are, the more we can accommodate the influx and process people, figure out who's going to stay, who's not going to stay. Right now, the federal government's hands are tied. There's only so much money that they have. There's only so many judges that they have, so many agents. And there's rules in law that govern when people can be processed and when people can't based on the numbers. We're trying to get to a point where we can process more people in a quicker fashion, get those who are not going to be able to stay out. And you know, the Republicans said, we're not going to put it up for a vote. Sorry, we're going to have this issue and we're taking it to the bank. So, you know, just let's really just dig in here and I'm just encouraging everybody, go issue by issue. Look at what the Democrats are doing. Look at what the Republicans want to do. If it's closer to what you think is in line with your values, go with that. If you don't care or you don't have values, why are you watching this show?
Hallelujah. All right. It's time for some snazzy music. It's been fun. It's been fun. We went over just a little bit, but it's been a long time since my computer got sick. But she better now, baby. All right. Hey, y'all enjoy your day. We love you. We need you. Do what you got to do. Click subscribe, share, however y'all do that stuff.
Click like.
Yeah. And let me give y'all a little bit of something.
Yes. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.
Want to take you a doodly doo, can you dig it? And all I wanna do is just listen to you. Take you politics 72, can you dig it? Want to take you a doodly doo, can you dig it? And all I wanna do, you wish just listening to you. Take you by the 72, can you dig it? KQ, doodly doo, can you dig it?
1, 2.